If you guys are out there, tell me if you hear any music. Can you guys hear music? All right. Headphones are dead. What's up, guys? It's a beautiful Monday morning. It is, wow. I have been pushing really hard for my body. We got one airplane propeller to do. We got one photograph to do. We got one trailer to vinyl. And then I've got to do my wife's big Christmas gift. So other than that, we're good to go. I was pushing hard this season. I'm going to be coming right down to the wire again, and that's how it is. You know, we're trying. We're gonna keep doing and do what we do right. Let's see. If you guys happen to hear any odd noises, I've got my dogos in here with me, and it's a little cold outside right now. It's like 10 degrees outside, so we brought them in. You know, they're like your CNC machines. If you're cold, they're cold. Bring them in. All in all, had some really good stuff going on lately. You know, we're working at it, trying to get some stuff done. I want this in the new year. My goal is to make coffee and cuts more universal. If you guys want to see this continue in the new year, please don't hesitate to make monetary donations so that we could put our studio backdrop wall up. We also are hoping to upgrade our StreamYard feed to the pro version so we can stream across multiple groups, multiple pages, and direct to our website. So you know, we want to try and get this as reputable as possible. You know, we want to touch as many people in the CNC community. I want to start talking to some radio guys and seeing what we've got as far as options to reach out to the masses on the open platform. I want it to remain free, unobstructed, but we gotta start upgrading it for you guys, because every day it's the same look, same show, and stuff like that. And I'm not cool with that. I want to definitely upgrade this in the worst way. So last night was a big night. The CNC for Newbies machine is operational. and ready to have a router mounted to it. We have a DeWalt 611 on the X-Carve we can take off and put on the C4N machine. But I do have a Bosch 2.5 horsepower that we can put on, and that'll give me the ability to have half-inch tooling with longer tooling. And I'm excited about that aspect. So right now I'm 3D printing the mount for it, and I'm going to test fit that. Once that's test fitted, I think that's what I'm going to run for a while until I get this VFD figured out for my spindle. And then once I get the spindle figured out, obviously I'm switching over to that. But I want this machine operational first. We ordered 5x12 for mica sheet for our wasteboard. That's coming in, and yeah, that's basically all there is. I'm getting real excited about where everything's at and how it's coming together with that machine. So as you guys know, I've been talking about it. I get questions on my X-Carve a lot as to what all is done to that. Jerome, you think you'll be running the spindle before me? If I have to, I'll throw it on there just to show you I win. I'll always be better. I'm like, it's like that time when you were going to fight your dad, and he was like, okay, but I'm always going to win, because if I have to grab you by the balls and drag you around the house, I will, because I don't fight fair. If I have to, I'll call up one of the companies and I'll be like, hey, send me out somebody and let's get this running before Jerome. No, Jerome is working some really good things. Jerome is working on some really cool things in the background in terms of some machine stuff that hopefully will come to fruition. I hope that it does, man. I'm excited for you. Graphics. I actually think if I took time, I think I could get it working in 20 minutes. I have a good grasp on it. I've never played with this VFD before, and I'm really afraid of it. I'm afraid that I'm going to back charge the Gecko 540 and blow it up, and then the whole machine's down, or I blow up the VFD and then I can't get a VFD until after Christmas, and now that machine's sitting dormant. That's my biggest fear. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I get, whenever I start playing with VFDs, I get concerned because you can back charge stuff so easily and blow stuff. They're very easy to set up. It's just making sure your wires are correct. And I've never played with this VFD before, so I'm really like, I'm just scared. I'm hesitant. And it sounds stupid, I know, but it's the truth, and it sucks. So you guys are awesome. I love this interaction. This is great. All right. Real quick, graphics 11. Shoot out your name so I can give you a shout out, man. So Dre wants to help Jerome. I see how it is. it's the two kids ganging up on dad, huh? Just remember, call me daddy. That's all you got to do. Oh, it's John. Okay. John is tuning in. He was on Facebook earlier, and then he started tuning in on YouTube. So I wanted to give John a shout out. John does some phenomenal John does some phenomenal 3D relief work. Now, John, I believe you have an Avid CNC. Uh, uh, I'm trying to think. I think you're using ZBrush for your 3D reliefs, and I think you have an Avid uh, CNC router. If I'm correct on that, let me know. If I'm incorrect, let me know also. So Copperhead Mike had a 15K VFD where he used to work, and those things scared him. Absolutely. When you're playing around with VFDs, the transformers in them can definitely they can really do some damage. Freeze up here. We've got my wife is working from home, and my two daughters are on broadband for school. Okay, how are we now? We back on? Everything should be coming through. So John does have a Avid CNC, and he uses ZBrush. Hammerhead Mark says that he can come help me. So what's up now, huh? Jerome, you don't have the structure that I have. Just say you got amateur numbers. You need to bump those numbers up. Let's see. They controlled chain conveyors and metering belts. Okay. Right on. He said we locked up. I think we're good now. Yep, we're good. Got to go driving home from getting new leg and finishing my last couple orders. Jerome. So for you guys that don't know, Jerome is I think you're a knee down amputee. And he runs a YouTube channel called One Legged Outdoors. And he does some really amazing stuff. He's a vet. So I really enjoy talking with Jerome. He has that move forward attitude. Dre that's on here is a current serving military man. Thank him for his service. What else? Mark Rush that pops on in and out of here. He is a veteran himself. He served well, and he's done some stuff. He was medical discharge, I believe. So shout out to those guys. Thank you guys for your service. We really appreciate it. And I appreciate you coming on here and talking with me and interacting. So John uses ZBrush and Aspire and early CNC router parts 4x8 with a custom lathe and a 3D printer. Right on. I like that. John, that's awesome, man. Let's see. Jerome and below the knee. Right on. I look forward to having Jerome on here. Like I said, he's from One Legged Outdoors. We've got Mark Rush, I believe, is Mark's Custom Woodworks is his shop. Dre King is First Class Flag Company. John T, Graphics 11. Give me your, I don't know if you're doing hobby or if you're running business. If you're running business, shoot your business down in the comments so I can give you a shout out. We all know Copperhead Mike runs Copperhead Metalworks out of Florida. John's got the robot arm too. Yeah, that's right. You're running a robot arm. How do you like that thing? It's a lot of fun, isn't it? What is part you were talking about, and what is its job towards the CNC? Dre, what are you talking about? What part were you talking about? The comment on the VFD, or what the actual conversation of today is going to be? Because the conversation of today is going to be my littlest of CNCs, my eggbot. An eggbot. So what is an eggbot? An eggbot is a small CNC that holds a Sharpie marker. Okay. And there's a stepper motor here that rotates this way. There's a stepper motor here that actually turns like a lathe. And then there's a servo here that lifts and drops. It lifts and drops the Sharpie or paint pen. And that's my newest small format CNC, and I got it to do glass globe ornaments and custom Easter eggs. So so Copperhead Mike, you have a unique position where you have signage coming in. What you can do is you can actually farm that out. So guys like me that have a plasma machine, if your plasma is acting strange and you can't get the cut that you want, farm that project out. You're not going to do much of the work, but your product gets done and it gets out to your customer in a timely manner. Like when I'm setting up new machines, I always make sure I have a backup, whether it be one of my machines or I have a drop shipper ready to go that I know does the quality of work that I do. And typically what I'll do is I'll actually go over to a friend's house, use his plasma, and then ship it. So just keep that in mind. If you need help, that's what this is all about, is connecting people and getting people talking and interacting. Reach out to me. I'll do it. I'll drop ship it for you. There are guys in your area that do it, that will drop ship it for you, I'm sure. So the VFD. Okay, Dre wants to talk about the VFD. So let's let's put the eggbot on hold, and we're going to talk about the VFD. Everybody's asking what I'm putting on the new CNC for newbies. Dre, a VFD is a variable frequency drive. So a spindle is a lot like a servo motor, where you can adjust the frequency going into it, thereby adjusting the RPM that the motor runs at. So your tooling spins at a certain RPM. It can also be turned off and on by computer or hand control. I know guys that like to set everything by hand and go up from there. So one of the big things with VFDs is they have inputs and outputs. So they actually are a closed loop system that goes back to the controller. So the VFD has its own controller. The VFD is the controller for the spindle. Okay. So Dre is running an X-Carve 611. So you have a router as your spindle. Okay. Which means as it's cutting, it's using torque and speed. Okay. When the torque starts going down, it bogs down. And then from there, you have to adjust everything. Whereas the spindle, it basically is either getting torque or it's not. That's an kind of a rudimentary way to put it. I've never thought about this in terms of how to put a VFD in layman terms. But a VFD is just a variable frequency router head. That's an easy way to think of it. It'll adjust down to like anywhere from like 2,000 RPM up to 20,000 RPM, and it maintains a torque throughout that spectrum, and equal torque throughout that spectrum. John, actually for the spindles, you don't need the encoder for the closed loop, because the frequency is working off of feedback to the control system in terms of voltage feedback. But see, now you're getting into technicalities that there's a lot to unpack there. John is correct. You would need an encoder for a closed loop CNC control motor. However, the VFD operates off of a voltage feedback, not necessarily a parametric or a quadratic encoder. So yes and no. That's, like I said, I've never thought about how to put a conversation about VFDs into layman terms, because they do a lot. They do a ton of stuff. Now you have a PID controller that will turn your router into kind of like a brushed spindle, kind of. I know guys that do it, but by the time you're doing it, you might as well have bought a VFD. That's my thought. Right. The hertz are fully adjustable with the VFD. That's one of those conversations. This is a rabbit hole we can go down for 3 or 4 different shows. But yeah, it's basically just the control box for the spindle. Dre, that's what it is. There you go, John. That's a great way to put it. Yeah. John, let's go through some of the comments here. Okay, so John's saying that the hertz in a VFD is completely adjustable. Absolutely. You adjust the frequency, and that modulates the wattage going to the spindle, thereby adjusting the RPM. PID controllers are a lot like a thermostat or cruise control, and he's absolutely right. PID controllers are copperhead for you. That would be what you have in your powder coat oven. That box is a PID controller. Like I said, that's one of those that is a topic that can get real in depth real quick. And it's based off of each person's setup, different control boards, what microprocessors, what everything like that is like. So it can become really muddy really quick. And there's never a great answer, really. That's how I look at it. Like I said, by the time you're said and done, you might as well have bought a VFD, but some people don't like VFDs or they're afraid of them or whatever the case may be. So yeah, but excuse me. It's a rough day. All right. So back to the topic at hand. The eggbot. 3-axis, 1 rotary control. It is a direct control from Inkscape using an Arduino knockoff board. This thing's really cool. Like you have 2 connections. You plug it into the wall and you plug it into USB. And when you do that, you basically will tighten this section of the machine and then tighten this section of the machine. And this is the throw and back this way. So that's kind of how it goes. And you can adjust everything from there. And it's actually a really cool little CNC machine. If you're looking for your first CNC machine, this kit is about $200. It comes with everything you need, and it goes together in about 30 minutes. And you just need a laptop with Inkscape on it to control it. I don't know if I have. My daughter was playing with it. Okay, here we go. Guys, I got to tell you, this is horrible. I think one of my dogs farted. That's why it's called the Doghouse Studio. All right, let's see here. Okay. So that's how that goes. And let me see if I've got a glass ornament. My God, it smells horrible in here. My dogs are hoggish. All right. Since this is a nice ornament, we're going to take this out. Guys, keep the comments coming in. I really enjoyed, like, I didn't realize that we needed to do a show on VFD. So, you know, we might actually do that. I'm going to need the other adjuster. This will just give you an idea. Okay. So basically it would look something like that. And then you would adjust so that this part here with the pen would be in the middle of your part. And you would adjust this rail up and down so that it covers exactly where you want it to. You need to make sure that you center your part and everything like that. I was right up on the microphone. Sorry. But you basically need to center your part in the center of this. So let me take that branding off of there. Okay. So now it looks something like that. And once you get that, you're pretty much right where you need to be, adjustment wise. And then you just go through and make sure that it touches where you need it to touch. So I put blue tape over it, and then I'll run the marker over in a down position and make sure that it moves that way. Did you see the guys set up for making door stops auto feeding material? No, I didn't. John, send me a link to that. Send me a link. I want to see this. Auto feeding on a router or auto feeding. What is he auto feeding? We've got at Croft CNC, we've got a new guy that wants to learn how to run CNC machines. So we're gonna throw one of the Alex Maker hobby machines at him and let him learn how to do hobby feeding or hobby lasering and stuff like that. So he's excited about that, and he's got oodles of woodworking knowledge that I can't wait to see. Excuse me. Oh man. So in any event, this is the eggbot. and it's simple adjustments to make everything work. Like I said, if you want to get into a cool little CNC machine, this is the one. It's inexpensive, it's fun. You can do stuff with your kids. You can do stuff with the wife. You can basically just do stuff. I think I'm going to have to push this down a little. I'm not sure which ones. I think it's this right here. It's this one. What I'm looking at is the wobbliness on this. Anyhow, this is a great setup to start learning CNC on. I don't know. I love CNC machines of any kind. Embroidery machines. I'm actually, if anybody knows of a small single color, single thread, or single color, single head, like maybe a brother sewing machine with a computer head on it, something like that. I'd like to get my wife one for her gnomes, and go from there. John, I'm really interested in that. If you can find the link to it, please send it to me. I want to see that. That goes right in line with what we were talking about with the relay systems. Like this one, I couldn't automate it the way that it is, but if I did some changes, I could automate this real easy. The servo is good for the pen. I would probably 3D print these arms and put a metal or a plastic hinge system on this so that it didn't break. And then I would make a better centering fixture. And other than that, that's pretty much it there. But, you know, wherever you go with it, that is what it is, you know? And that's the eggbot. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You know, it's nothing major. It's basically a step down from 3D printing as far as what it's doing and how you're doing it. Yeah, John. So John is talking about our robotic arm. I built an Anin Robotics AR3 robotic arm. I 3D printed one, and then I have the aluminum one. And both of those, we utilize those to load and unload we did use them to load and unload our X-Carve for rapid runs of wood signs, whether it be laser or carved. You know, but that's one of those. It needs a lot of work. Like to make a work cell in a home garage, it takes a lot because we don't implement a lot of the light triggers and safety triggers and functionality that the other machines utilize, because it's not a large talked about product. You're in a home shop. You shouldn't be using robotic arms. Well, screw you. I'm able to use robotic arms because, of what we do. That's one of those things that really gets me at times. I really get irritated and everything like that at times just because of that. I really think that the light industrial, the heavy hobby machine system needs an overhaul and an upgrade, because we're doing shit on our machines that these guys can't even wrap their head around. Like, you're making a full product in your garage. Yep. Yeah, I am. And I'm doing production. I'm not making one-offs. I'm actually doing production. It's stuff like that. Like, I would love to have a rep from Universal Robots on here and talk about their arms and what they're capable of and what features they have and stuff like that, because that's the stuff that people need to know. Like, oh, I want to add a robotic arm to my stuff. Obviously, John and I are more of the, we enjoy the we actually enjoy the journey of making something. John made his robotic arm, and I think yours is on a track or a mobile unit and is picking stuff up and putting it down. But he's right. It's politics in the fact that people who don't understand are making the rules. And we have guys like us are breaking the rules. We need to make it such that you have an X-Carve. Oh, you can make $1 million with it. This is how. And go from there with it, because it's really not that difficult once we stop and think about it. It really isn't. So, yeah, that kind of irritates me that we don't have this information. For this machine here, like, if I look at this, and if I was going to automate it, I would have a pressure sensitive switch. I would have a screw terminal here, or a set screw, not a set screw, a lead screw here. I would have this would home over here, and then I would have the robotic arm load in. It would come forward. This would then come up. And I would automate it that way. One of the problems is you have to take into account tolerance deviation. Like, that's one of the nice things about our setup with the relays, is you have a plus or minus, because the air actuators coming in and pinching down and holding it, that all is implemented so it only pushes so much pressure, and then once it pushes that pressure, it stops. John started with a cheap wooden thing. I would assume you're talking about your router, and I would assume either like a Bob's E3 or a JGRO type build, or like a Joe's uh, Joe's CNC wooden build, something like that, like with the black iron pipes and the skateboard bearings. Is that what you're talking about, John? Man, I really hate this lag. I wish there was a way to get this lag out of there, because it's like a 20-second lag between when you type, I respond, and then you respond back. And it always gives me dead air. I don't know how. I got to talk to my radio buddies and figure out all of that. But yeah, I mean, we're rocking and rolling in the light industrial. Yes, the black iron pipes. Did you do the JGRO? Is that what you did? The one off CNC zone? There were free plans out for those of you that want to get into this. JGRO. I'm going to put the eggbot up here out of the way. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. So let's share screen. Okay, guys, this is a JGRO. Sorry, trying to get this. There we go. Okay, 100%. There we go. Okay, so this is a JGRO router. It's made out of black pipe or conduit. It has NEMA 17 or NEMA 23 motors, a very rudimentary control system. You can actually build one of these for as cheap as $500. And that may sound like a lot, but the ability to make stuff on this is amazing. And then you can make a rough one, utilize it to actually make the replacement parts for itself. And then from there, upgrade it to aluminum and just keep making bigger and better structures out of the whole thing. Okay. And this was one of my first CNC routers. And this is where I learned right here, the table for these are a glue up. So, a truss style table is what they call those. But it has all the adjustment for the rods, and then the bearing system is a piece of angle iron or angled aluminum, bolts through it, and skateboard bearings with spacers. And that's actually what starts the platform, right? And they're real easy to put together. Like I said, for $500, you can put the whole thing together with the control system, and you can run it on easel or open source software, OpenCAD, stuff like that. And you build one of them out of wood, out of MDF or plywood, and then you use it to make a nice hardwood one. And then once you get that one and it's all toleranced and you learn how to use it, you can actually build one out of aluminum. You can use the CNC machine to pocket these holes and build your aluminum one. And then once you build your aluminum one, you put nice, 495 ounce motors. You put nice Gecko or Probotics drivers on them. You use a UC100 converter, and you use the UC CNC software or Mach 3 software, and this thing turns into a beast. And then once you learn how to do it, you just sit there and go, okay, what do I need to do rotary? And this is a perfect segue from like an eggbot CNC to a router CNC. And then once you upgrade this to aluminum, then you can upgrade the drive system from belts or a lead screw to a ball screw system, to a dual ball screw system. And you can use this to actually make your parts. Or in my case, like you jump from this. These are the DXF plans. Let's see. I don't know if that's coming up. There we go. So this is the DXF plans all the way through. That's how many pieces there are to make. But you can go from one of those to, I'm trying to think. Is this the one? Yes. So you can actually use that little wooden machine to make one of these bad boys. And these things are just amazing. They're awesome. It's a rack and pinion system that you can put together yourself. Now you're going to spend more money than what it would be to buy a finished CNC for newbies rack and pinion machine. But you can control the format size that you want. You can control how much money you're spending at one clip. You can do timing belts or rack and pinion or lead screw. You can do spindle or router. You can upgrade the Z to a common Z. You can change your motors. Like that's one of the nice parts about what we do. When we do stuff like this, it's so awesome to sit there and say, hey, I built this. I did this. This was me. And it's just one of those things. And Raw CNC has, let's see, there you go. And I'll tell you, I use this book, this ebook, a lot. I'm giving away a lot of my secrets here. This is a lead screw type machine. It also comes in a belt style, double standoffs, or double plates with standoffs. You can use either a bearing block setup, or a wheel setup, a V-wheel setup. This may look familiar to some people. To others, it may not. If you look at the Avant CNC, let's see here. Take a look at the CNC here. You've got the bearing. You've got the rack and pinion drive system. In their older model, they had a ball screw system. But if you look at the side panels and you look at the orientation of things, if you imagine that that's a C channel, I mean, I'm not giving away too many secrets here with people, but it looks kind of familiar for those of you that are in the industry and know what it is and what you're looking at. You know, just saying. I'm not trying to be a jerk, not trying to be a dick, but there's companies out there that utilize these guys' ebook to build on what they have. And this is a nice machine. I've built many of these machines. I personally, I like their machine. It's actually a really good setup to me. They don't have any of their old ones, but what I can do is I can show you guys. This is how much I believe in what Raw CNC did. Here we go. You guys are looking at my 1 terabyte CNC files hard drive. These are all of their instructional videos off of their old website. Hold on 1 second, guys. I gotta cut. Okay, guys, I'm back. Andrew wants to know when the Croft CNC machine is being released. It's not. I am working with companies like let's see here. Okay. I'm working with companies like CNC for Newbies to bring a production aspect to the masses, because I believe in what these companies are doing. You have my X-Carve is pretty much all TBD CNC. The belt machine, and we do stuff with them to make the aftermarket for the X-Carve. We're working with CNC for Newbies on the rack and pinion aspect of a light industrial, I would say intermediate industrial machine myself. But we're working with JTech Photonics on on different laser application stuff for the X-Carve, and I'll be putting that on the CNC for Noobs. We're working with endurance lasers on the Alex Maker platforms, the like dedicated laser platform. You know, the I probably will never do a production CNC machine. You know, there's a company called Cerberus CNC. You know, they might produce one, but that remains to be seen. But these ones, I mean, this is not hard stuff to do, to understand, to see. Here's this is really what it's all about. I mean, here's their book. That's what they put out. And I check their website damn near weekly. I believe what they do is a really cool setup. You know, they don't have a gear reduction system, but they do have a backlash reduction system. So the motors you put on that's the speed and the torque that you get. If it were me, I would definitely put a gear reduction plate on there. But once again, this is their version of an inexpensive CNC machine. So, you know, now you know. Yeah, we've got some people. Do you have a daily backup of your computer's files in place? You seem to have a lot of files on your computer. Would be ashamed to lose everything. Yes, Andrew, I do. I have a USB backup, a 1 terabyte hard drive of my CNC files. So what happens is I create, let's see here. I actually create my different folders on my desktop. And then as I do that, I have different things that I put in the done folder. And when they go in the done folder, they get put on a separate 1 terabyte hard drive. And then that every Friday, that 1 terabyte hard drive gets backed up on a 1 terabyte hard drive. And it's just something that I learned long ago. Back up. Always back stuff up. Trying to see here. Somebody just sent me John Graphics 11 is sending me some videos and information on stuff. And guys, if you ever see that stuff, don't hesitate to send it to me. There are a lot of times that I've already seen it, but there are times where I see stuff that I really get excited about. There isn't a lot in the CNC industry that gets me excited because it's brand new. Um, and that's one of those things. I keep going back to the CNC for newbies and TBD CNC. TBD CNC released a spindle mount. They called it the tram mount for the X-Carve, and it allowed you to take and tram your spindle almost instantly. CNC for newbies made a brand new gear reduction rack and pinion system that I haven't seen before. These guys are creating stuff that's the stuff that I look at and I go, wow, that's new. That's awesome. I like that. Other than that, I sit there and I look and I go, it's all right. But that's the difference between you and me. Some people are jazzed about new cars and stuff like that, and I don't. I don't need any amenities in my car. Like, I've had cars without heat in the middle of winter. I had my last Flex before this one. The plastic gearbox broke for the defroster, so I couldn't actually turn my heat on. So I had to turn the AC on, turn the heat to hot, and blow out that way. Like, it's a $28 part from Napa, and it takes 3 hours to replace it. But I don't need it. Like, that's not what I worry about. I find a workaround for that, and I just need the four wheels and the motor to get me from point A to point B. It doesn't have to be fast. It doesn't have to be powerful or anything like that. But when it comes to CNC machines, I'm like, yo, if I have that machine, I can make this part for that car. I can make this part for that bike. Whatever I need, I can do it. And it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm getting ready to do some aluminum cutting that I'm pretty jazzed about. So, yeah, other than that, that's where we're at. I think I've got customers on their way. So I'm going to call this one done and in the books. And I will holler at you guys later if you don't have any other comments. We're going to go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.